deprogramming after narcissistic abuse, right? How you doing? When you have been a victim of narcissistic abuse, it is important that you take time to reprogram, because you have to really sit back out of your emotions and focus on the reality of your life, right? Because having narcissistic people in your life, that's what it does. Makes you question your reality, right? If you have been in a narcissistic relationship, you probably spent a lot of time criticizing yourself, trying to figure out what about you causes these behaviors from other people, right? And if you have kids with a narcissist, it's even worse, because now you thinking about what about you causes this person to treat your kids this way, right? When in reality, it's not you. It's never been you. It's always been about that person and who that person is. Because that person has chosen to be a narcissist and they are this way, they treat your kids the same way they treat any adult, right? They're selfish. They don't think about other people's feelings or emotions, just what this person can do for them, right? The space that this person feels in their life. So this person doesn't have feelings in their mind, right? So they don't think about if they let this person down, right? If they call the children and say they're gonna come and get them and then never show up, right? They don't think about how that makes the child feel every time they do something like that. They'll never take the time to apologize or anything in concern of the children, because what they're focused on is that reaction that they're getting out of you, right? Because when they do that to the children, you get mad. You go off and you say things like, I'm not gonna let you see the children no more. And then they use that against you and say things like, you bitter, you're mad, you're just mad because I don't want to be with you, I moved on, and that's why you want to keep the kids away. All those things, right? Playing on your emotions, right? Playing in your face, basically. That's that crazy making behavior. Narcissists will withdraw support, financial or just mental, like, right? They will withdraw that support in order to make you chase that, right? So, for example, if the other parent of your child is narcissistic and you break up, the first thing they would do is cut off the financial support, right? Because they feel like you're going to come for their financial support. And you may not say anything for months, but when you do say something, they will say things like, see, it's always just about money with you. Even though it's been months since they have thought about their child at all. They don't know if their child is eating, if their child have clothes, shoes, none of the necessities, because they don't care, right? Because they are selfish. And the only thing that they're thinking about is the rise that they're going to get out of you for how they don't take care of their kids, right? If they don't give you any money, then you're going to get mad and you're going to come after them and you're going to say something to them. And then they're going to argue with you and put you down and belittle you. And then you're still not going to get the money, right? It's all about control and manipulation. They don't want to do anything for those children. That's why they don't. And the more you try to make them, the more they are going to use it to manipulate you and play in your mind, right? That's why it's so important for us to recognize that God is our provider, Jehovah Jireh. That God is going to do exactly what you need, because people know when you are dependent on them. I put a post up yesterday saying, never give them the ability to feed you, because that's giving them the ability to starve you, right? Jehovah Jireh. Know that God is your provider and he always will provide. You break your codependency and learn to stand on your own. It may not be fair that your children have two parents, but you're the only parent who is being responsible and taking care of them. But it's okay, because God sees you and he will bless you for taking care of his blessings, because children are a blessing from God. So don't allow those crazy making behaviors to keep you on the emotional roller coaster. And you can go and get child support, right? Because child support is there, but child support also opens doors to visitation rights and things of that nature. And if it's a safety issue, like if this person is violent or if this person has hurt your kids in any way, then you don't want to open that door either. So sometimes you have to choose the peace or the money, right? And your peace is worth way more than the money, right? Because God will replace. And you cannot outgive God. So whatever child support was gonna give you, God will give you that and some, if it's about your peace, right? You don't want to force anybody in your child's life who does not want to be there. You do not want to force them to do anything for your child. They would do things like make your child feel guilty about asking them for things. Like, oh, your mama told you to ask me for that. Oh, you gonna call me till you need something. When they say things like that to your child, that's damaging and hurtful, right? Stop all of that. Cut all of that out. Because your goal is to raise healthy children. And a narcissistic parent is not going to help you raise a healthy child, because of the negative things that they say to you, they say them to your child too, right? They down talk you to your child, they down talk your child, and all of those things are damaging. Just as nasty and hurtful as they are to you, they are to your child or to your children. And once your children recognize this, your children will look to you and wonder, why do you continue to put them through this? So you make a choice to stop it, right? And you be okay with not having everything you want, but knowing that God is going to supply everything you need, right? In the Bible, there's a scripture that says, I have learned to be happy with little, and I have learned to be happy with much, right? It's been so many times since making a decision to stand on my own and cut off the narcissistic parents of my children that I have wanted to go back, right? And ask them for help, right? Ask them to do things. But at the end of the day, I remember what God has brought me through. I remember how hard it was for God to break those yokes, right? And I remember that every single time that they tried to hang me out to dry and not help me and allow my kids to suffer, that God always made sure they had everything they needed and what they wanted. And that gives me strength to continue to depend on God. So it is okay to go without until you can get where you need to be. If you value your peace, because a narcissistic person will never allow you to have peace in your life, right? They don't want to be the man that you need them to be or the woman that you need to be, and they have showed you that. They have also showed you that they don't want to be the parent that your child needs them to be. So at this point, the only thing that you're doing by trying to work with this person and compromise with this person is continue to hurt yourself and your children. Be okay with recognizing that this person is a narcissist. Recognizing that this person is manipulating and controlling the situation. They gaslighting you, they lying to you, they are hurting you and your children. Be real with the reality of what's going on around you, right? In the Bible, there's a story when they was picking an army, and there were, I want to say, 10,000 men, and they lined up by the river and they told them to drink. The men who put their head down and drunk from the river were sent home. But the men who stooped down, held their head up, and brought their hand to their mouth with the water, they got to stay. That is how you have to look in narcissistic relationships. You have to keep your head up. Look at the horizon. Keep your eyes on God and recognize that you know what you know. No matter who is trying to tell you that you're making irrational decisions, that you're not being fair, you know what you know. And you know what's best for you and your children. You walk forward in that, and you allow God to guide you, direct your path, and you allow him to be Jehovah Jireh, because he is going to supply. I love y'all.